Dear learners, here we are to teach you lesson a course on the personal administration on the MOOCs platform. I am Professor Nafis Ahmed Ansari from Department of Political Science of Aligarh Muslim University. Today I will give you a lesson on the features that we find of the personal administration in United Kingdom. As we have seen in the previous lectures, the personal administration which is also known as human resource management is a vital functions in any organization. Without the human resources, the functioning of an organization cannot be known as a fully functioning organization. So it involves managing, developing the workforce to ensure that the organization can achieve its goal and objectives. In United Kingdom, personal administration has evolved over the years to meet the changing needs of business and employees. In this article, we see that in this lecture, we will discuss the key features of the personal administration in UK. Firstly, I would like to discuss the British Constitution and the difference between the United Kingdom and Great Britain. The British Constitution in the Constitution of United States or United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Great Britain consists of England, Wales and Scotland. England and Wales are united in 1535 and Scotland joined them to form the state of Great Britain in 1707, while the United Kingdom of Great Britain and North Ireland was formed in 1921. The British constitutional system is the oldest in the world. The oldest system that we find a constitutional functioning that we find in United Kingdom. The oldest because the most of the world at that time were not having a systemic type of the government. Either they were having imperialism or having dictatorship and haphazard manner was functioning in the organization. It was the Britain who has given an example how the constitutional system can be adopted and is also the oldest democratic system. That is what we called it. In fact, the British Constitution is the mother of all the constitution in the world that we find. The constitution in the world has taken some reflections from the British Constitution. The principles and institutions of representative government were first developed in Britain. The British Constitution is a blend of monarchy, aristocracy, and democracy. So, here in the Constitution, when we go through the British Constitution, which we generally say that it is not a written constitution, it is something which is in a different forms, but it has a system of a monarchism, aristocracy and democracy is been mixed up in this system which is known as the British Constitution. In the mid 19th century, Britain operated under a patronage system for its civil services, where positions were granted as a political rewards or personal favors. So those people who are the part of the civil services, they in one way or other were associated with the political parties who used to come into the power. They were be patronized by the ruling party. Unfortunately, this meant that individuals with the necessary qualifications but lacking influential connections were unable to enter the civil services. The qualifications and talent was not been considered to be asked them to be the part of any civil services. Only political affiliations were given the priority in the system in the old system of British government. As a result, corruption and inefficiency plunged the administration everywhere. Patronage because is given by the political parties. It is obvious there they feel that they can do whatever they want to do. So there was a corruption which has been very common in the system in United Kingdom. However, the increased concern about the corruption, economy, efficiency, and popular rights to the public office gave rise the model civil services by middle of the 19th century. So by coming to the 19th century, most of the countries in the west world were very much cautious about their powers, their authorities, and their territory of the country. So they wanted to a proper development, rapid development, and becoming more and more powerful. So that gave a concern in the British government, and this British government started thinking of modernization of the civil services, and these corruptions and other aspects which was there prevalent because of patronage was being given up, and new modern or modern civil services were adopted in 19th century. The British services has a long rich history shaped by numerous reports and commissions over the years. It is widely regarded as one of the world's most efficient and effective civil services. This can be attributed to the principles recommended by the North Travel Committee report in 1854. So the rich history that British is having, this rich history has contributed in developing a very strong civil services, and some of the recommendations which is given by the North Travel Committee report in 1854 also contributed in the strengthening the system of the civil services in Great Britain. This principle emphasized the importance of selection on the basis of merit, open competitive examinations. What we found before, it was the patronage, the political affiliations, which was the priority for the purpose of an appointment. But now, 1854 onwards, when the modern civil services has been adopted, after that, the selection was purely based on merit. Selection was on the basis of competitive examination. The talent of the persons was being tested, and promotion based on performance. Whatever the performance been there in the organization, that becomes the main criteria, sole criteria we can say, for the purpose of the promotion in the civil services rather than patronage. This led to the foundation of professional, impartial civil services free from political interference. So, patronage system has been completely abolished. Merit system was about it, and every aspects of the civil service was based on qualification, talent, performance of the civil servant in the organization. However, as the civil service continued to evolve, changes were deemed necessary to improve its efficiency and effectiveness. This led to the establishment of various commissions and committees, each with its own recommendations for reforms. So continuous reforms have been adopted since 19th century onwards, and there are a number of the commissions and committees was constituted to look after what are the area that has needed a reform in the civil services. One of the significant reforms that we find or changes that we find is been coming from the Playfair Commission in 1875, which introduced the concept of unified and centralized civil services with a clear hierarchy and chain of command. So, this commission, that is known as the Playfair Commission of 1875, has given two very important things that became a landmark of the changes which most of the countries in the world has accepted is very important part of civil services. One is that there is a hierarchy and there is a chain of command. So these recommendations have been helped the civil services in United States of America to get more modernized. Unified and centralized civil services is the concept developed since then. The Redley Commissions of 1886 to 1990 to 1890 focused on recruitment and training of civil servants, recommending the creation of Civil Services Commission to oversee these processes. On the other hand, the McDonnell Commission of 1912 to 15 proposed the establishment of permanent civil services department to oversee the management of organization of the civil services. So both the thing, one is that the recruitment and training process, which is very important component of the civil services, is been a point of focused by these Radley commissions, and they have asked to start a system of recruitment with the help of civil services commissions. And in 1912 to 15 by the Donnell, they have said that there must be a department and a separate department who has to take care of the functioning of the civil services. As the whole of the civil service expanded in the aftermath of World War I, the Haldane Committee of 1918 recommended the establishment of General Registrar Office, which played a key role in modernizing the civil services by centralizing personnel records and introducing performance appraisal system, which is also become very important component in most of the civil services in the world, where the records and the appraisal system is the basis where the civil service been recognized in the organization, and various promotion incentives are related with this performance appraisal system. The Bradbury Committee 1918 and 19 further emphasized the need for a permanent civil services department and recommended the establishment of civil services college for training and development. So now this modernization is been reformed in the system of having a proper line of actions, how the civil services been made more efficient. For that purpose, it is been recommended that there must be a separate civil services college exclusively for the purpose of training and development of civil services, which is very essential to modernize and to equip them with the changing environment which is going on throughout the world. In the 1920s and 30s, the Tomlin Commission 1929 to 31 and the Barlow Commission 1943, these two commissions focused on issues such as job classification, pay, and retirement benefits of the civil servants. Now you see that nowadays most of the people who are talented, they are attracted to the government services. This is because they know that they are going to functions on such a place where they will get a good salary, and after the retirement they will also be taken care of by the government in the form of retirement benefits. So these two things are the points which attracts talents to the civil services, and that has been recommended in 1929, 31, and 1943 by the Barlow Committee. The Ashton Committee in 1944 introduced the idea of a unified grading system for all civil services position based on the classification and experiences. So now by 1944, the British civil services are being streamlined in a professional manner, and job classification and unified grading system has been adopted by the British government for the purpose of strengthening the system of civil services in the administration. The Masterman Committee of 1948 recommended the establishment of Civil Services Selection Board to ensure fair and unbiased recruitment process. Now, separate board has to be created that has an specialized professionals in the board for the purpose of selection in the form of fairness, unbiased, and the process should be very transparent as far as the recruitment process is concerned. In the 1950s and 60s, the Persistently Commission 1953 to 55 and the Plowden Committee 1961 explored ways to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of civil services, particularly in the areas of organization and management. So efficiency and effectiveness was again been a point of focus when the British civil services come on the time of 1961, and the Morton Committee 1963 focused on the control of public expenditure and recommended the establishment of a new ministry for public expenditure and economic planning. So gradually the system is becoming more and more stronger. The civil services system in United Kingdom started becoming more and more stronger, and we started giving new ideas and new departments for the purpose of monitoring the civil services activities in the administration. Fulton Committee is a very important committee which was constituted in 1968, and this committee in 1968, the British government commissions the Fulton Committee report and comprehensively examined the structure, recruitment, training, and management of civil servants. So we have seen in the previous commissions and committees, they have given the ideas, and the government has initiated the system of a structure which is to be developed in the system of civil services. The government has taken the step for the recruitment process, modernization or transparent recruitment system. The government has decided to establish a college for the purpose of training and management of civil servants. Now, time has come to review all these functioning that has already been started by the government, and this was been given by government to Fulton Committee 1968. The report of the Fulton Committee was a response to the growing concern about the efficiency and effectiveness of civil service, which played a crucial role in the functioning of the government and delivery of the public services. The report was led by Lord Fulton, a renowned economist, and it aimed to address the issue of bureaucracy, outdated practices, and lack of innovations with the civil services. So now that is what I said, that though all those things which is being taken care by the Fulton Committee was being started in United Kingdom, but that was not giving so result as it was desired. So there was need of a reform, there were need of examinations, and these examinations been carried out by Lord Fulton, who was the a renowned economist, and has to go through the process that was going on, and their effectiveness has to be analyzed. One of the key areas of the focus in the Fulton Committee report was the structure of the civil services. It highlighted the need for a more streamlined and flexible structure that would enable civil servants to adapt to changing circumstances and to take on new responsibilities. The report recommended the creation of unified civil services with a clear distinction between policy making and policy implementation role. This would ensure the civil servants were able to focus on their specific tasks and avoid duplication of the work. This is what the basic modernization concept has been adopted, where the policy formulation that is related to the legislative activities, policy implementation which is related to the executive functioning, this has been clearly been demarcated by this Fulton Committee report. It has given clear indications that what the legislature has to do and what the civil servant has the responsibility in the policy making, and the sole activities of the civil servant will be the implementation role, which is the execution role of the policy which is formulated by the government. So here the recruitment was the another important aspect which was examined in the Fulton Committee report. I told you that in the previous commissions the recruitment on the transparent manner has been initiated. This patronage system was given, the merit system and intelligence was the criteria, the competitive examination was adopted, but what we find that was to be made more effective. For that purpose, this committee has also evaluated the system of recruitment. The report emphasized the need for more diverse and merit based recruitment process that would attract the best and brightest talent to the civil services. Reforms in the process was being suggested by this committee, Fulton Committee. It recommended the establishment of Civil Service Commission to oversee the recruitment process and ensure fairness, transparency. The report also called for the introduction of specialized recruitment for specific roles such as economists, statisticians, and scientists to meet the changing needs of the government. So the focus on the specializations was required, and that has been identified by the Fulton Committee report. It is not only the general qualifications peoples who are the part of civil servants going to contribute more to the administrative changes. It needs a specialized person who has a specialization in the area of economics, who has a specialization in the area of statistics, who are the scientists who can give good suggestions in a specialized area. These peoples are to be part of the administration in the form of civil servants. Training and development of civil servants were also highlighted in the Fulton Committee report. The report recognized that the rapidly evolved political and social landscape required civil servants to possess a wide range of skills and knowledge. It recommended that the establishment of a civil service college to provide training and development opportunities for civil servants at all levels. It is not only the higher levels peoples who has to be trained, it is necessary that even the lower offices personnel, civil servant must be given a process of training in the college which is established specifically for the purpose of training. The report also stressed the importance of continuous learning and development to keep up with the changing demands of their roles. Whatever is going to come in the future, for that paper, they must be prepared now. They must be ready to carry out the work which is been assigned any time in their civil services functioning. The Fulton Committee also reported and to address the issues of management within the civil services. It highlighted the need for clear lines of accountability and performance management to ensure civil servants were held accountable for their actions. So, accountability is also very important in the administrative system, and this accountability has to be fixed. And the civil servants has to be their part in the accountability. They have to take the accountability of their functions and their subordinates. The report recommended the introduction of the performance appraisals and incentives for higher performing civil servants. It also called for adoptions of modern management techniques such as goal setting and delegation of authority to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the civil services. So that is means that there is a concept of incentives for the civil service. Interest has to be developed, not only those who are already be part of the civil servant, but also who desires to be the part of the civil servants. From then the most talented person must be given a type of incentives, in the type of interest in the form of rewards that is to be given when they are joining the civil services. In the conclusion, the Fulton Committee report of 1968 was a landmark document that brought much needed attentions to the structure, recruitment, training, and management of civil services of the United Kingdom. Its recommendations paved the way for the significant reforms in the civil services, leading to a more modern, efficient, and accountable institutions. The post of the senior policy advisor was to be created in the major department. This should be in addition to the post of permanent secretary. The official secretary rules should be relaxed. The process of administration should be made more open to the public knowledge and consultations. So, advisors policy of advisory body is becoming an important in the modern system of civil services in United Kingdom. Ministers should be allowed to employ temporary experts to advise them. A scientist, it can be economist, it can be technocrats. They must be given chance, and the ministers are given the flexibility to take advice from them. Civil servants' educational and social base should be expanded by recruiting change and increase opportunity for internal promotions throughout the services. In other words, there should be a large graduate entry, inquiry into the methods of recruitment, and greater interdepartmental mobility from one department to other. Management service unit should be established in all major departments. The report continues to have a relevance today as a government around the world grapples with the similar changes in their civil services. So when this report was being published, then most of the countries who are seriously thinking of reforms in the civil services has taken this informations from the Fulton Committee and adopted in their system and tried to make their own system more modernized. The British Treasury oversee the civil service as the central personnel agency until October 31, 1968. However, the Fulton Committee report's proposal led to the establishment of Civil Services Department on November 1, 1968. In addition to taking over from the Treasury as the central personnel agency, this agency also incorporated the Civil Services Commission as a separate division. But in an effort to save money, the agency was abolished in 1981 and its duties were split between the Treasury and the management of the Personnel Office. The management of the Personnel Office was abolished in 1987 again, and the Ministry for the Civil Services took its place. Now, the British Civil Services is managed by the Treasury and the Office of Ministers of Civil Services under the control of the Prime Minister of Britain. Today, the British Civil Services continues to evolve and adopt, guided by the principles and recommendations of these various reports and commissions that we have studied, and we have tried to understand what their recommendations was. It remained a vital and integral part of United Kingdom, playing a crucial role in delivering public services and implementing government policies. The civil services in United Kingdom has a long and rich history dating back to 19th century. Before that, it was having informal activity. But the landmark of these reforms, a landmark of the study of civil services, is the 19th century. Over the years, it has gone significant changes and reforms and transforming all small, if inefficient bureaucracy to modern, professional, and efficient body that plays a crucial role in the functioning of United Kingdom. The origin of civil services in United Kingdom can be traced in the 19th century because that is the landmark when the modernization step was started. The first Services Commission was established in 1855, aiming to improve the recruitment process, ensuring appointment were made on merit rather than on basis of political influence. So in that way, what we find that in the early 20th century, the civil services UK underwent significant changes in response to the challenges posed by the World War I. After the World War, the civil services recommendation continues to expand. The number of the committee has their own views and recommendations which was been adopted from time to time. In the later half of the 20th century, the civil service in the United Kingdom intervened further more reforms and modernization. The Fulton Committee report I told you is a very landmark for the purpose of a rapid modernization of the civil services in United Kingdom. Not only in United Kingdom, but his report becomes an agenda for the most of the developing countries and developed countries in modernization of their civil services. In 1980s, the Thatcher government introduced a series of reforms to increase efficiency and reduce the size of civil services. This includes the introductions of the performance-based pay and creations of executive agencies, which allow to greater autonomy and flexibility within the government departments. Today, the civil service in the United Kingdom is modern and efficient, and it is been recognized to be one of the most and very effective civil services in the world. It is guided by the principles of impartiality, integrity, meritocracy, and it is responsible for implementing government policies and delivering public services to the citizen of the UK. Today, what we find that there is a great concept of accountability being managed by the civil services. They deliver with full accountability. The civil services continue to evolve and adopt the changes needed of society, making its essential institutions in the country's government. The civil servants themselves are taking initiative to modernize their system. They take initiative for giving more result in the functioning of administration. They take initiative to make the system more transparent. They take the responsibility to create an atmosphere of accountability among the civil services right from the top to bottom. Thank you very much for watching. In the next lecture, we will discuss another topic which is related to the personal administration. Thank you. Thank you very much.